Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the snow and the rain and the miserable weather that will most likely destroy half of the games tomorrow.
That's right. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jill.
No! David! You ruined one of my dumbasses of the week! Son of a bitch! I can't expect you to hold back on
I
that.
couldn't. You set it up. You set it up.
We'll talk about that. We'll save that for the weekend edition.
Yes, we will.
Yes, the weather is brutal. Even though opening day got pushed back a week, we're still dealing with weather. Snow possible in Chicago this weekend for the Brewers and the Cubs.
Man,
but it's baseball. We should be happy.
Deal with it.
Taping here on the 6th of April, 2022. Of course, tomorrow is opening day. This will hit
on opening day,
the 7th. Of course, the same day as the Masters tee off. We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
But we would not be the true baseball fans that we are if we did not do our entire first segment about the opening of the Major League Baseball season in 2022.
Yep. That's what you're going to get this first segment of Sports Frenzy 2.0.
We've got predictions. We've got picks for week one in our Field of Frenzy competition.
Yes, we do. It's going to be interesting. A lot of similarities and things not that far off.
So as we lead into the start of the regular season, again, a week delayed because of the lockout, we've seen, as we talked about in the past, a lot of teams are selling off, the A's in particular.
Fire sale continues in Oakland. God, that's frustrating.
Sean Manaea goes to the Padres for a prospect or two, bolstering the San Diego bullpen. Interesting, though, with what happened in the offseason with their manager position, where the A's basically let Bob Melvin go to take over the San Diego team after last year, where they had a young pup running the Padres who couldn't do it, obviously.
Failed down the stretch. Now the Padres have a solid manager who knows what the hell he's doing, who is finally going to have a team around him that's not made up of a bunch of up-and-comers. He's got a solid lineup up and down, solid pitching, solid bullpen.
Can you imagine if Tatis had not gotten injured
the
offseason?
They would be the favorites.
And he was healthy from day one. The only weakness they have right now is the bullpen. That's it.
Yeah, and that they can overcome more than likely. They'll figure it out.
Like most other teams, they'll find a closer.
Yeah.
Somebody in that bullpen will step up, and they will find a closer. They were a pick that I was really thinking of going with because of the history with the Dodgers, with Dave Roberts. Dave Roberts has not proven to me that he is a great manager.
No, he's made a lot of stupid mistakes, especially when it gets down to crunch time.
They should have more than one championship right now, but we'll get to that later.
We'll get there.
Last minute deals in MLB. Again, you've got to be ecstatic about getting rid of Chris Sale. Now he's on the 60-day IL with that rib.
Sale could we call him the Christian McCaffrey of baseball? Or would that be Mike Trout?
I think he's
worse. We got the White Sox dumped Sale at the right time.
I just would never take a guy, and we've talked about this, where the pitching motion is so stressful on the arm, on all parts of the body.
He's not fluid.
And I know that is not the be-all, end-all. I've talked about Mark Pryor years and years ago with the Cubs.
Who supposedly had the best form.
And he looked like he would be, the way he pitched, good to go for 15 years. Didn't work out.
No, you never know. I mean, look how long Randy Johnson pitched.
Exactly. Great.
With all the stuff that he had.
Great example.
But he wasn't a herky-jerky either. He somehow managed to still keep it fluid with all that torque that he generated.
Right. So, of course, you're happy that you did ditch Craig Kimbrell after all.
God, I was waiting for it. I knew Kimbrell would not be with the Sox for long. Thankfully, we pulled off the deal with the Dodgers. Even swap, we pick up outfielder A.J. Pollock. Fantastic grab for us. Solidifies that outfield with Jimenez, Robert, and now Pollock. And then we've got Vaughn when he comes back can DH, sub out. I'm loving our outfield right now in Chicago for the White Sox.
You did not need Kimbrell.
No, we didn't. Not with Liam Hendricks.
It bothers me that the Dodgers think that this guy who disappointed you with the White Sox, who disappointed me with the Cubs, they think he is going to be able to take over for Kenley Jansen. They
could be in for a rude awakening.
They've got Blake Trinan sitting there, so they could always swap him out.
Yeah, and we know Kimbrell can't pitch in the 7th or 8th inning.
Right.
We learned that in the White Sox last year. He failed miserably.
But now you guys are making the moves I like, that I wish the Cubs would make.
Yeah.
Under the radar moves.
Yeah, because we wound up signing Felix Hernandez. We got him to shore up the back end of the rotation with Carlos Rodon being gone. Got him on a 2-year, $6 million deal. Cheap to eat innings there. With Lance Lynn going down for a few weeks with a slight tear in a knee tendon, having surgery, whatever on that, we wind up signing Johnny Cueto to a minor league deal that's got prorated provisions in there for any time served at the majors filling in. Major backup insurance right there for the rotation.
I just don't understand what these other teams are. The White Sox are making good moves like this. What are these other idiotic, moronic GMs thinking? I would have loved to have Johnny Cueto on a minor league deal.
Yeah, how could you not like that
King
move?
Felix in on a $6 million 2-year deal?
Yeah, to shore up your back end.
If anything, it's going to bring fans into the stadium.
Yeah.
To see a potential future Hall of Famer.
Yep.
I just...
And Cueto also gives us that backup when Lynn comes back if Keuchel flops.
Right.
Like he did in the second half last year.
Right.
So we do have some depth at starting pitching right now.
Now, the only problem is some of the teams in your division have been making
significantly
some good
better.
Well, Cleveland is starting to finally realize that they are not bottom of the barrel. So they did sign their closer.
Yep.
Emmanuel Chase.
And they
Place. I'm sorry.
Place.
And Jose Ramirez just got a 5-year,
$124 million deal.
Yep.
They opened up the pocketbooks for him. We talked about the Tigers, the moves they've made. They're going to be a lot better. And then the signings that the Twins have done, that's going to be a tougher division this year than it was last year.
Yep. Agreed. Austin Meadows was the one signing that the Tigers pulled off this week.
Yeah.
I don't know what the Rays are doing. The Rays, again, have a legitimate shot at winning that division.
It's
the Yankees and the Red Sox really didn't do all that much.
They didn't have the money to do anything. They didn't want to go over.
But for the Rays to bail on Meadows kind of shocks me.
Yeah, because you would think that they would want to try and get back to the postseason. They're almost handing it to Toronto with the moves they're making, trying to do a reset like the A's are. Again, going cheap.
Not that bad. They're not going that far. Like the A's are just blowing it up completely.
But the Rays
did sign Wander Franco to that. I'm hoping they signed Randy Arozarena. Those two kids should be the cornerstone
exactly
for the Rays. But letting Austin Meadows go hurts, and it bothers me because
it's not a good
it
look
looks
for
like,
them.
like you said, it looks like they're trending more towards what the A's are doing than a team that's actually thinking they can compete.
The Rays are within their window is still open, and they don't realize it.
Right. But of course, the Rays, we know, don't have a ton of money to burn. They're in a bad situation, bad stadium. But wouldn't it be nice if you're the Angels, where you can let go Justin Upton? We owe him $28 million. All right, somebody else can take him. That's fine.
Come on,
stupid contracts. You want to know who's going to be the next one to do that? Cubs.
Oh yeah,
next off season they will let Hayward go for the same amount of money. It'll be about $28 million. They will cut him and let him go
early
and eat the money. The Cubs have unbelievable infield depth. That outfield looks horrendous.
It's bad.
They're putting all their eggs in that one basket with Seiya Suzuki. Because otherwise it's Happ
nothing
and Hayward.
Yeah, that's
if they get to 500 this year, that's a win for David Ross. Sorry.
Yeah, it's not looking too good on that front.
No. Now, one of the hot picks for early on this year, a month or two ago, was the Mets. You know, Cohen spending all this money.
We're going all in.
I'm going all over the salary cap. The luxury tax threshold doesn't mean jack crap to me.
I'll pay whatever it takes.
Yeah, well, here's the problem, dude.
You're giving out stupid money for no reason.
Well, Jacob deGrom is a China doll.
Yep, he's starting out
he
on
actually had the balls this week. Actually had the balls. He has not pitched a full season in how long? 3 years?
It's been about 3. I was going to say about 3 or 4 years. Yeah.
He's already going to be on the shelf for at least the first 2 months of this year. I'm opting out of my deal. Who's going to be stupid enough to pay you $30 million a year? Who?
The Cubs.
No. The Cubs are too worried about soccer. The Ricketts, all they care about is soccer. They don't care about baseball.
Watch, DeGrom will wind up on the north side.
No. Some stupid team like the Yankees would do it. I could see, we're going to put Cole and DeGrom together. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how
one guy who can't handle the fact that he can't use spider tack anymore. And the other guy who can't stay
on the mound. Yeah.
So now, with that and with
New York problems for you, right?
Yeah. Which doesn't bother me a bit.
Nope. Have at it. Bye-bye.
Yep. You overpaid for a overrated pansy-ass shortstop in Francisco Lindor. And if you'd waited a year, have you seen the contracts this year? Nobody hit $200 million.
Nobody. Everything has been reasonable.
Right. So all these players who got $300 million, they're laughing all the way to the bank. But their teams are devastated because they can't pay for other players.
And they're not living up to their deals.
Manny Machado.
Yeah. Major case in point right there.
And now Max Scherzer going back to the Mets. Hamstring issue, says he might be okay.
He's going to wind up on the IL for a decent chunk of this year going
What,
forward.
38 years old, and you really expect him
to be your number one?
If you kids recall, in the playoffs last year, after the Dodgers made that big trade for him, he could not pitch in Game 6 because he was worn out.
They overused him, and he's getting older. He does not have the stamina that he had. Father Time is catching up.
How about this anti-sign stealing device? What are we doing with baseball now?
You know what? If it will speed the game up, because I bet half the time the pitchers shake the catcher off because they don't know what they're trying to call with the fingers anymore.
So now we got a little electronic device on the wrist.
Yep, push a button, say throw this pitch. You don't even need to have a decent game calling catcher anymore. Pitching coach can call everything from the dugout now.
We're going too far with baseball now. You and I know with certain areas and the things that need to be fixed. This wasn't one of those areas.
This isn't bad because it's going to keep all the sign stealing down because of all the damn cameras and everything in the stadiums now. It's too easy to zero in on.
I just don't like it. We're making too many excuses for everybody. We have talked about this.
Get
the
game
goddamn
up,
players in the box. No more Garcia Parra.
The pitchers are worse than the batters.
I don't know if
they're both to blame.
I don't know if this is going to help at all.
It needs to speed shit up.
I got to go back to the A's for one thing. I found this unbelievably interesting and funny. And then we'll move on. We'll do our picks for the 2022 baseball season. We've talked about the fire sale with the A's. We talked about Sean Manaea getting traded to the Padres. Of course, Bassett went to the Mets. Olsen to the Braves. Chapman to the Blue Jays. In 1991, if you recall, when the A's were the be-all, end-all, the Bash Brothers, the Oakland A's payroll in 1991 was $33 million. Tops in baseball. Guess what their payroll is right now?
$35 million?
It's right around $33 million. It's pathetic. It's miserable right now. But
that's bad.
This should tell you.
So bad.
This should tell you how far the A's have fallen
from a perennial contender.
The sad thing is, Dave, if you look at some of these teams that have done the fire sales, these teams that have bailed on their players, getting rid of their stars because they don't want to pay them. These were the teams that were great in the 70s and the 80s. Yeah. The Oakland A's, the Cincinnati Reds, the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's so sad. So sad.
Storied franchises playing cheap and not caring about their fan base.
And baseball, again, did nothing to fix this.
Nope, not at all. All they had to do was put in a hard floor.
Shame on Rob Manfred. Shame on the union.
Everybody, you're at fault on this one. So I did want to touch on Carlos Beltran.
The admission
of cheating for the Astros in 2017, admitting they crossed the line and regretting it. Too little, too late, but at least he had the balls to say it.
Okay, great.
Whoop-de-doo.
And how many other people have we had over the last 40 years in baseball cheat? Steroids, sign stealing,
that are still vilified and not everything was taken
and that
from
won't
them.
admit that they cheated.
Yeah. It's pathetic.
That's why baseball is so screwed up. Speaking of screwed up, it's time!
Time for the panel picks.
The Field of Frenzy, Morningwood. Our illustrious trophy is on the line. Because we all have had Morningwood at some point in time. Well,
Yep.
I don't think Mississippi could have that.
No. Nope. But who will rise to the occasion this season?
Ba-doompa. 7 of our 8 panelists have got their season picks in, as well as our week 1 picks in. Now, of course, because of the lockout, we've had to screw things up a little bit with our schedule. Normally, we do a long week 1. Yep. Now we're going to do a short week 1 and a long week 26. So
we'll load up the back end.
That's what she said.
Yes.
So we're only going to be picking from Thursday through Sunday here, or normally we'd go Thursday through the following Sunday.
Yep.
So we have got Nick, Bill, and Sam taking the Mets.
Without DeGrom.
I know the Nationals aren't great.
No, but still.
We'll see. You guys are all gushing over Juan Soto, so I don't like the pick at all. I don't. With the weather, there's a front moving in that's going to wipe out at least one of those games.
Yeah.
Doug's taking the Cubs. That one boggles my mind.
Against the Brewers. Again,
at Wrigley
that's another
with bad
Wrigley
weather.
with bad weather coming in.
Yeah. I don't like that pick. Aaron's trying to outthink the group is what he's trying to do.
He is taking the Royals.
He is trying to figure out a way to save his picks of better teams for later on. I can respect that. I don't think I take the Royals, but
hey, why not? Early on, you never know what can happen. So, I am taking the Phillies. 3 games against the Orioles. We'll see. Weather could come into play. But again, I don't know if I would take the Phillies down the line. But it's the Orioles that they're playing. I had to.
And that's the exact same logic I'm using. I am actually going to burn one of my Atlanta Braves picks. I get 4 games against the Reds down in Atlanta. I think the weather should be okay by tomorrow. Looks like they can get all 4 games in, especially since it's going to be hard to make up games with teams that are not in your division.
Right.
You're going to have to possibly double up.
Do a stopover.
Yes, it hurts to pull a Braves pick on a short week out like this. But
there's a
if I can
chance you're
get
going to
3
get
or 4, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
And again, the Reds are one of those teams that's been doing the flyer sales.
Yep.
I don't think the Reds are going to be worth 60 wins this year. Not even 60.
They'll be lucky to hit 50. So we'll see how this goes.
The thing is, that's why the Cubs will end up being good. They'll end up hitting 500 because they can beat up on the Pirates
and the Reds.
And that's why the Brewers and the Cardinals will probably both make the playoffs, because they get to beat up on all 3 of those other trash teams in their division.
Yeah, because Pittsburgh and Cincy will probably split between them.
You look at the NL East and the NL West. Those could be dogfights. The Central, it's going to be the Cardinals and the Brewers. That's it.
Yeah, there's no mystery coming out of the Central.
And with 6 teams making the playoffs on both sides, would not shock me if easily the Brewers and the Cardinals both make the playoffs.
Yeah, they should both make it.
Right. So our predictions.
Tiebreakers.
our predictions for the season awards and the division conference. What is it, conference, or what is it in baseball? AL, NL,
Yeah.
and the World Series winners. In the National League, boy, we got 7 of our 8 picks in. Everybody's on the Dodgers again.
Yep. You, me, the elder statesman, the big blue W, the juggler, and Aaron, the governor. No.
Easy E.
Easy E.
The Big Easy.
The Big Easy. We're all going Dodgers. Doug,
the governor takes
so
the
far,
Braves.
The Braves. Waiting on Mrs. C's pick yet.
Yep. Still got a couple hours before our deadline. So far and away, the Dodgers are the favorites in the National League among our panel. This is where it gets fun, the American League, because it took me until about 4 or 5 o'clock today to try to figure out between the Astros, the Blue Jays, and the White Sox who I was picking. And I went back and forth and back and forth. And I really, in the end, I looked at the fact that overall, in terms of balance, I had to go with the Blue Jays. But here's my issue with the Blue Jays. Are they going to get this whole travel thing figured out? Now, it could work in their favor. If all the Blue Jays players are vaccinated, but Yankees players, Red Sox players aren't, that helps Toronto. They play against an inferior roster.
Yes, they would.
Because an Aaron Judge and Anthony Rizzo cannot travel to Canada.
That's going to be the key on how that's going to play.
Now, I assume this is all going to go away pretty soon. So
it could be a non-starter, but you just don't know. I flirted between the Blue Jays and the White Sox. I had to pull the homer here. I like the little moves they've made to tweak. We'll see. I don't know how the Blue Jays pitching will shore out. Should be decent. We'll see.
I do like the moves the White Sox have made over the last week. That made it a much more difficult pick for me. And I still like the Astros a lot.
They're still going to be there.
Dusty, he's probably the best manager among all of those managers. I'm sorry, he's better right now.
He's
than Tony
better
La
than
Russa.
Tony. La Russa has been out. The game has passed him by. I told you I hated last year when they got him. I hated that.
The manager for the Blue Jays, of course, comes from the Rays, the Tampa Bay Rays tree, which tells me nothing but good things.
Yeah.
Anybody that comes from that Tampa Bay Rays family, I know they know what they're doing. Yeah.
They're solid. So, again, with the Blue Jays, the elder statesman's taking them, as is Nick. The aforementioned Astros, Bill is taking them. Then you get the East boys. Doug with the Yankees and Aaron with the Red Sox.
I don't see the Red Sox having enough pitching, especially with Sale, with the rib.
Yep. And the Yankees,
they've got Garrett
keep
Cole and
healthy?
Nobody else.
Yeah, we'll see. All right. We are going to have to continue this into the next segment. Like with the NFL, now that Major League Baseball is going strong, you're going to have some carryover, kids.
That's right. Little melodrama. Tension. Tension builds. Who will the guys pick to win the World Series? Who do they pick for MVP? Cy Young. Stay tuned. Quick promo coming up, and then we'll be right back.
This is Coach K, and after my retirement from college basketball, I plan to become an analyst on Sports Frenzy 2.0 with the Maestro and the Conquistador every Thursday on Spotify, Anchor, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Breaker, Apple, Overcast, and Castbox. And don't forget to check out our Facebook page.
Sports Frenzy 2.0. Major League Baseball continues in the second segment. I'm the Conquistador, Dave Height.
Along with the Maestro, Kevin Crane.
And here we are, April 6th, recording. This will hit opening day, April 7th.
Although the weather is going to be miserable and a couple games have already been postponed, which sucks balls, but
hey, at least it's baseball season.
That's right. So we've already gone through our National League champions and our American League champions in terms of who we're predicting. We've got Dodgers, Blue Jays, Dodgers, White Sox, Dodgers, Blue Jays, Dodgers, Astros, Dodgers, Blue Jays, Braves, Yankees, Dodgers, Red Sox. Now we move on to who our panelists pick to win the World Series.
Dodgers, 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 Braves, Dodgers.
Yeah, can't say much more than that. Despite the fact that Dave Roberts has never impressed anybody in terms of being a great manager with all of the talent he has been handed to him over the last 6-7 years.
You would almost feel like the law of averages has to be in their favor.
Yeah, he should have more than one title by now. But now picking up Freddie Freeman has got to be.
That kind of puts them over the top.
And keeping Trey Turner from that ridiculous trade with the Nationals last year. I cannot go against the Dodgers. I just can't. Even though their bullpen might be a little suspect.
It's a little shaky.
Their
especially
starting rotation,
with Kimbrel being added.
Right. On the back end, their starting rotation's a little suspect, but that lineup is just
tough.
Unbelievable. NL MVP. You guys kind of, you went chalk on me a little bit.
I kind of went chalk.
Out of the 7 of the 8 of us who have got their picks in, 5 have gone with Juan Soto of the Nationals.
Yep.
He's on a prove-it deal. He turned down a huge contract extension.
Trying to bank on having a monster year to get into free agency.
Right.
We'll see if it bites him or not. I thought about trying to go back-to-back with Acuna Jr. like I had him last year, but I don't know how he's going to come back from that injury.
Yeah, he's dinged up.
He's not going to be there for the full
That's
season.
why I went with the new shiny acquisition for the Braves, Matt Olson. I think the Braves pulled that deal off beautifully where they let Freddie Freeman go. Of course, for about 2 seconds, all the Braves fans were, oh my God, how could you? Now, look what we did. We brought in a younger
version,
brighter, shinier toy.
Yep.
Gave him a long-term extension. Don't worry, it'll all be fine.
It all works out.
Yep, so I'm going with Matt Olson. You, Sam, Bill, Nick, and Doug are all going with Juan Soto. And that's not a bad pick. The only problem I have with that is I do not like to pick guys on losing teams, and I think the Nationals will be a losing team this year.
Could very well be.
Now, of course, my logic doesn't really work because everybody loves Mike Trout. Everybody loves Shohei Ohtani in the American League. So
on the abysmal Angels.
Right. And then Aaron, of course, goes with chalk. He takes Bryce Harper. I don't like Bryce Harper because now with Schwarber and with Castellanos, the numbers are going to be split a little more evenly.
Yep, that's going to skew away from him.
Yep.
Big time.
Yep.
AL MVP coming up. Kind of almost split. You know, Sam's taking the aforementioned Mike Trout, supposedly the best player in the game.
If he stays healthy for an entire year.
When was the last time he played a full season?
I'm just saying, that's the only reason you would pick him is if you assume he is going to stay healthy for an entire year.
Yeah. And then we've got, again, Ohtani as the other one. We
and
got
again,
3
if
picks
he stays
there.
healthy, he will win the MVP. I agree with that.
As a pitcher and a hitter.
If he stays healthy.
He does both.
But I just think he had the greatest year that I've ever seen in terms of a player.
Bar none.
I don't see him duplicating that. Something will happen. An injury will happen. They made the rules. They changed the rules to help him out.
Yep, to keep him what the games he starts as a pitcher, he can stay in as a DH.
So Bill, Nick, and Aaron are all going with Shohei Ohtani. I don't think he's going to stay healthy.
Nope. Now the young gun coming up. You, me, and Doug going with Vlad Guerrero Jr.
He was close last year.
Very close.
He's still unbelievably young.
Very talented.
He's got a small window because I don't think he's in great shape. He's a big.
No, he's
like
going,
a Cecil Fielder.
He's got this year, possibly next, before he's going to start having knee and ankle issues.
Exactly how I feel. He's a Cecil Fielder.
Yep.
He's got a very small window because of his build,
girth.
his girth, his weight.
Yeah, he is not. He does not have the body type of his dad.
No. Nope. But I also looked at it and said, if I'm going to pick the Blue Jays to win the American League, why wouldn't I pick Vlad Jr. to win the MVP? Now, I will give you one other name. I will give you one other name that if he wins, he was my second pick, is Jordan Alvarez from the Astros.
Yeah.
The Astros are so smart in how they bailed 6, 7, 8 years ago on a season, on 2 seasons, got all those draft picks, and they got George Springer, and they got Alvarez, and they got Urquidy, and they've got all these young, great players. Yep, they let Correa go. That's the one reason I'm not taking the Astros, is I think losing Correa hurts them miserably. But I could see Jordan Alvarez having a monster year.
Yep. Stepping up there. Not a bad second pick. All right. Pitching awards. Cy Young. NL.
Bueller.
Wow.
Bueller.
Walker Bueller for you and Aaron.
It's his time. It is his time. He has got to step up and be the next Clayton Kershaw.
That's the thing, is he's got to step up to do it.
Yep.
So, taking a run at Zach Wheeler for me.
Who, by the way, I did not realize had such unbelievable strikeout numbers last year.
Yeah, that's why I went with him, to see if he can match that and go beyond. Doug's going with the aged one, Max Scherzer.
That was my second pick. If anybody can do this, it's Scherzer. Verlander and Scherzer are the two guys that if they can come back from injuries with Verlander or make it work at age 38 with Scherzer, these two guys
That's possible.
They are tough. They are awesome. They are Hall of Famers. I like Scherzer too.
Yep. Bill and Nick taking what I think is a flyer on DeGrom.
He's going to miss the first 2 months of the year.
Yeah, he's not going to be there. And then it's going to take him a long time to get back into pitching shape.
And then what else is going to pop up? Yeah. What else is going to happen?
What other issue is he going to have to deal with?
And nobody is saying, we've seen this before. We've talked about this for years and years and decades. I mentioned Mark Pryor. You could bring up a pitcher every 2 or 3 years, a young phenom who supposedly is going to burn the place down. Win Cy Young after Cy Young after Cy Young, and they never do it because of this or that or injury. This is Jacob deGrom.
Yep. So,
and the fact, again, that he opts out, if he opts out of his deal this year, thinking he's going to get more than $30 million, being the China doll that he is.
He's insane. Would not touch him at all.
Now, the elder statesman, not an awful pick.
No.
If the Marlins actually play well, Sandy Alcantara is their ace. An
It's
interesting
kind of a dark
pick.
horse.
Yeah, not the worst pick ever, though.
No, I would take him over DeGrom, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Any day.
Now, the AL is interesting because we have got 3 picks for Garrett Cole of the Yankees, including me, Bill, and Nick.
Yep. The elder statesman and I taking Lucas Giolito.
But that's not the only White Sox pick.
No, Aaron with the dark horse of the AL, Dylan Cease, who, if he makes the strides that he's capable of, could possibly do this.
And then Doug is coming in with Shane Bieber, of course. Great pitcher. Nobody. Here's the problem with the Indians. Oh.
Guardians.
Guardians. It's gonna take so long for me to stop saying Redskins and Indians versus Commanders and Guardians.
Guardians, yes.
So I am not taking the L on that. I need some time to get used to this. But Shane Bieber, the thing is, the Guardians have really good talent. We talked about this, just extended their stud position player. They've got Bieber. They've got Zach Plesac. They've got Aaron Chavale. They've got some good pieces in place.
They do.
Emmanuel Clace, the closer.
They're not a bad team.
They're being very frugal and trying to do things the smart way. But that being said, with Shane Bieber, are the Guardians going to win 75 games this year?
Probably not.
Do you think
they still have enough holes that they're not going to be that much in contention?
That's why I could never take Shane Bieber, as good as he is. Would I love him on the Cubs? Absolutely.
Who wouldn't want him on their squad?
But the team around him is just not going to be good enough to get him a ton of wins. And I know that doesn't matter anymore. Your guy,
but it still
King
hurts.
Felix, who you just signed, won the Cy Young with how many wins? Did he even get to double digits that year?
I'm not sure that he did.
With the Mariners? But
the dominance that he showed on the mound, and it was the bullpen that let him down.
So the again, I almost said the Indians, the Guardians could have the 2 most underrated position player and starting pitcher and closer, if you want to even go there.
You could.
With nothing else around them. Nothing else around them, because they have decided to go so cheap right now with what they're doing.
We'll see what they have lined up for next year. Maybe they're saving up.
I don't think Cleveland, like Detroit, I don't think
they're not. They don't have the
small
money.
market teams. They're not the Rays. They're not the Pirates. I don't think they're trying to work the system necessarily. No. I think they are trying to do things the right way. And if you have to rebuild, the Astros did this again.
Yeah.
And now look at them. I think that's what the Tigers and the Guardians are trying to do. Get your fundamental building blocks in place and then build around them, make it an attractive location for big-time free agents when they are cut loose from the Red Sox, the Yankees, the Cubs, the Dodgers.
Yeah.
So there you go, kids. It is time for baseball, finally. They tried to sabotage it. They tried to screw us over.
They did their best to ruin it, and they almost succeeded. All right. Transitioning now, the end of the NCAA basketball tournament.
When you say transitioning, all I can think of is Leah Thomas. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it, Dave.
All right.
Can I tell a joke real quick, by the way? Since we're talking about transitioning and Leah Thomas.
God.
This is not my joke. I've stolen this from somebody else, but I have to give this one to you guys out there and the Conquistador. What do Vladimir Putin and a potato shaped like a penis have in common?
Oh, God. What?
They're both dictators.
That's
That's a good joke. That's a good joke.
Bump. Thanks, Shecky.
That's a good joke. Dictators. Get it? Dictators.
Yeah, I get it.
God, that's a good joke. All right. On to the NCAA tournament.
Thank God North Carolina knocked Duke out. So happy to see that Coach K did not get a shot at the championship game.
I agree. And of course, that's going to be a theme here as we go on for the rest of this episode is too much coverage to people like Coach K, Tiger Woods, LeBron James, typical, as always is the case.
Yep. So
I loved seeing North Carolina knock off Duke.
That was just beautiful. They ruined his final home game, and they ruined his last-ditch effort at a championship.
And he still got to the Final Four, so
there you go.
In a way, it's still a very positive end for him. But we've talked about this. We'll talk about this here coming up with Tiger Woods.
Can you walk away? Because there's already rumblings that
Stop ignoring the negatives. Stop ignoring the things that these people have done, that they have let slide under their watch in the case of Coach K.
They are not to be put on a pedestal at all.
No.
So
now, of course, Kansas came back. Biggest comeback in a championship game in history.
Down 16 at one point. Came roaring back. Kansas gets their 4th championship in school history.
Which shocks me. Only 4. Wow, only 4 for Kansas.
Yeah, they've made it down to the Elite 8 and Final 4. But only 4 championships.
And of course, a lot of people like to hover on the fact that there has been an investigation ongoing for years and years now involving people who supposedly were paid by the program to bring recruits in for the Jayhawks. But the NCAA, of course, is slow as molasses in their investigations.
They'll just let things go, and the school will probably get hit, and Self will move on somewhere else.
No, I think they'll be slapped on the wrist with a minor penalty. There have been other people have pointed out that North Carolina had similar improprieties that went on for 2 decades with academic fraud.
Yeah, where's the death sentence on something like that?
Isn't it amazing
what certain programs get away with? I know.
So I don't have any doubt in my mind that Kansas this championship will stand.
They'll skate through. So
now watching the game, and of course I did not watch it live because Jesus Christ, a 9:25 tip-off. How stupid is that? 9:25 tip-off on the East Coast?
Ridiculous. When we get to the weekend edition, stay tuned. I'll tell you what I was watching instead.
I watched DVR the next morning.
I couldn't even do that.
So I did see the whole game. I watched the flow. Nobody spoiled it for me. I did not listen to or look at my phone or get on the internet. I watched the whole thing unspoiled, so I did not know what was going to happen. The thing is, watching the game, I liked the North Carolina players more. I just liked, in terms of, again, with the pros, I don't know. I don't know what you're looking at anymore when you're drafting a pro player.
Yeah, it's
Zion Williamson was supposed to be the next great thing. How'd that turn out?
He can't play. He's always injured.
Number 2 pick, John Morant, he's the star. So Steph Curry was drafted the back half of the top 10.
Yeah.
It's not like it used to be where you'd get a Patrick Ewing or a Michael Jordan in the top 3, and you'd had a Hall of Famer guaranteed on your roster.
Well, yeah, anymore. Back then, you knew what you were getting because they played for 4 years. They played out their career and developed into solid players going into the NBA. Now you got all these young one-and-dones. Who the hell knows what their actual game is?
All they care about is give me the contract, even though I'll be out of the league in 4 or 5 years. Yeah. I'll make that $10, $15, $20 million.
I'll make it
and
now,
I'll be set for life.
And I'll be set for life, and I probably won't even be a starter in my entire career.
I did like the 2 big men in the middle. McCormick for Kansas, Bacot. He is the kind of guy I would want on my team. Now, I've heard a lot of people say he's too slow. He does not shoot well enough. But he set the record. 6 double-doubles in one tournament.
How could you not like that? I mean, there's a guy who's going to be down there crashing the boards.
And he's the one that
he's going to be defending.
Badly twisted his ankle twice.
And still went out.
Right.
You don't have to be the fastest guy. You just have to be the best.
And this is why I liked watching the tournament, and every year I love watching it, is because eventually, after you get through 2 or 3 weekends of this, you learn these players. You start to love the players who make it all the way through. So Bacot and Love for North Carolina was great. Had a lot of energy. I loved his movements, the way he attacked the basket.
Yeah.
From back in the backcourt. But
and unfortunately, you're not going to see these guys again in the tournament.
No, because you know what's going to happen. First pick is going to be somebody from high school. It's going to be some kid from high school somewhere in California.
That's going to F everything up.
Yeah. We're going to find the next LeBron James. Yeah. LeBron and Kobe, as great as they are, fucked everything up.
Yep, completely.
Because everybody's gambling.
The rarity.
Everybody's gambling those 2 guys over the last 25 years. Listen to me. 25 years. 2 guys came directly out of high school and became Hall of Famers.
How many one-and-dones have done anything?
Remember Corleone Young? Remember him?
Who?
A disaster. He's the one I always remember that just flamed out, that everybody said was going to be fantastic. Flamed out.
Got to develop your game completely. All right. Kansas over North Carolina. On the women's side, South Carolina stayed number 1 all season, ran the gambit, knocked out Connecticut badly in the final to win their 2nd championship in school history. Congratulations, South Carolina, for knocking Gino on his ass in embarrassing fashion.
No, I can't go there. I can't. I can't. Not because I don't like Gino. I'm not. I will have something coming up later on in the show about Dawn Staley and her South Carolina team. And once again, I will point out
the negative.
You can't just be a good team. You can't just play basketball and win a championship. You have to make a fucking statement.
And be a spectacle.
Speaking of, switching over to the NBA, the Lakers are out! The Lakers are out!
They're out, Jerry.
And the world is a better place for it.
Oh my God, I saw that.
And there are still idiots out there.
Celebrated.
There are still idiots out there going, LeBron still should be in the MVP discussion.
Why?
The team finishes 15 games below 500.
LeBron has not played the whole season.
This is the whole shit we're going to get to with Tiger Woods in the last segment. Stop it. Stop being sycophants. Stop kissing the ass of these guys, these players who are not, number one, good people in terms of Tiger Woods, and not as good as they think they are in terms of LeBron James. Stop it! I cannot believe to this day Steph Curry should be 10 times the star that LeBron James is. Why doesn't Steph Curry get the accolades?
Because he doesn't draw attention to himself. He goes about his business in a workmanlike fashion.
Oh, makes me so angry. One last thing in college basketball. We have to give props to Xavier. Xavier won the NIT on the men's side.
Good for them.
Good for them. We've talked about Coach K. Bye-bye.
Yep, sayonara.
I was going to try to do this somehow in a dumbass segment, but I can't do it for the NBA. Quietly, silently, NBA games are back on Chinese state-run television.
Oh, really? What kind of deal with the devil did they make?
For the first time since 2019, all of a sudden, remember Daryl Morey when he was the Rockets GM?
Yeah, and he blasting China for their human rights violations?
Right. Now, all of a sudden, quietly, the NBA is back on Chinese state-run TV.
Gee, thanks, Skeletor.
As much as you hate Roger Goodell, as much as we both hate Rob Manfred, Adam Silver gets away with murder. He is literally the worst.
He is a scumbag.
He is a scumbag. Now, plans are in place. Shockingly.
No.
Las Vegas. We can't get a goddamn 8,000-seat arena here where we live.
But Vegas
is going to now get a basketball arena to try to lure an NBA team in.
God. Well, aren't they doubling down with the Vegas venue? With the Golden Knights?
No. An entirely new stadium.
Oh, come
on! No, Dave. An entirely new stadium.
Bullshit!
That's why I'm saying I am so tired of this shit.
How would that...
You have got so many
What kind of
venues.
fucking public money are they pulling with this shit?
You have got concert venue upon concert venue with the MGM, with Planet Hollywood, with the Hard Rock, with Treasure. Any of the casinos have arenas. No, they have to build yet another arena outside of where the Golden Knights play.
Oh, hell.
For a basketball team.
Bullshit. Complete and total bullshit.
I can't stand the fact we don't get a stadium. Vegas gets 15. Vegas has got 15 fucking places where they could have any kind of band, any kind of show.
Well, when you print your own money, literally.
All right, kids. Now Dave's got me fired up. We'll be right back for the final segment. Tons of dumbasses.
NASCAR, NFL.
And, of course, the Masters.
Ugh, and our moments of silence.
The masturbate.
Yeah. All right. Stay tuned, kids. We'll be back.
Hello, friends. Are you tired of the boring sports analysis you get from the major outlets? If so, join the Maestro and the Conquistador for a riveting discussion of all sports topics on Sports Frenzy 2.0. Available on Spotify, Google, Apple, and wherever podcasts are available.
All right, kids, it is time for segment 3 this week on Sports Frenzy 2.0. Taping the night of the 6th of April, 2022. Tomorrow, when this hits, will be opening day, the 7th. I am the maestro, Kevin Crane.
I'm the Conquistador, Dave Height.
Glad to have you back with us. We might have to go 4. Might have to go 4 segments.
We may have to. We didn't want to, but
it could happen.
Topics are going to force the issue.
Yep. So we have got to talk about NASCAR, of course. Recap last week's race at Richmond and look forward to the Blue Emu 400 at Martinsville. Have to discuss Kyle Busch's tape issue.
Good God, that was such a cluster in and of itself.
Ryan Blaney got the pole at Richmond. He is really, even though he has not won a race yet, he is by far the best we have seen so far this year. He's won 3 poles. He has really got the best
run
car.
Well, but they have not been able to give him a car to close it out.
Right. Speaking of which, Denny Hamlin actually finally did get a car to close everything out. They pitted early enough, giving him new tires, whereas Truex and Byron stayed out on old tires.
Yep.
Hamlin and Harvick
gambled coming in for tires, and it paid off. They ran him down and passed him up.
Yep. So Denny Hamlin does finally get his first win, despite the fact he's had a pretty abysmal year.
And as you mentioned, the Toyota-sponsored event, the Toyotas actually ran well, with Truex pretty much dominating the day.
You know, sometimes the blind pig finds a truffle, Dave. And I found that truffle.
But
and Hamlin, again, if it wasn't for the fact he'd been running so poorly, would have been a good pick for this race.
Would have been.
But I think everybody stayed away from him because of the fact
you didn't know what you were going to get.
Right.
So Harvick finally showed up.
Harvick has not been terrible this year.
No, but
I don't think he's ever had a car that's been close to winning.
No, this is the closest he's been in some time.
Yes, and I had Martin Truex last week, and I might have seen something from him that leads me to believe. Oh wait, let's wait for our picks.
Let's wait for the picks.
A couple minutes.
Now that things are finally starting to shake down.
Yep, we have had 7 different winners, 7 different races. We talk about this every year, it seems like.
What trends?
Who's going to be the first one to win 2? When is it going to happen? Who are going to be the drivers who are going to get knocked out because they're not going to make it on points?
So
I said Kyle Busch had this weird tape issue on his grill.
Crews are no longer allowed to put tape on the front of the cars to impact downforce anymore.
Because if it'd been a little bit over, a couple inches over, they would have said okay because it would have helped the brakes.
Right.
Not the downforce.
Right. But where they put it, it was a no-no. But the issue that everybody has is how long it took NASCAR to black flag him, to pull him in and make him take the tape off. They waited well over 100 laps. By the time it was noticed, by the time They reviewed the pit stop. Did they do it, or was it something picked up on the track? No, they brought him in with, 50 to go, costing him what could have been a top 3 finish.
He still finished top 10,
He
though.
still finished 9th, but it cost him a higher finish with the amount of time it took him to make the decision to finally bring him in.
Yep. So that's, again, a controversy of, is NASCAR favoring the bigger teams over the smaller teams?
Who knows? And really, all you're going to do is what he lost on the track. You're not suspending the person who put the tape in the wrong spot, not docking him any points or making suspensions or fines. It's a little skewed with what they did with Keselowski, where they still haven't shown what the part was and what they did to said part.
And I had heard that after Richmond, Martin Truex, they had pulled his car in for inspection. But I have not heard anything more on that.
Yeah, they usually will randomly pull,
they pulled
one
two
of the
cars
makes
in. Yeah.
From each. So who
All
knows?
Right. Now, of course, we have this rotating crew with Mike Joy and Clint Boyer. The third person has been a rotating. It's been Gordon, it's been Stewart, it's been Danica Patrick. This week it was Chad Knaus. I would like to say one thing to Chad Knaus. Nobody fucking knows what you're talking about when you say Delta. You said Delta about 4 or 5 times. Nobody fucking knows what you mean when you say Delta. Speak to us like we are normal people.
If you're going to use the term, at least explain it a couple times during the broadcast.
Delta
what
this,
you're
Delta
referring
that,
to.
Delta this, Delta that. I never
Delta,
thought
Delta,
I would
can
say.
I help you?
I never thought I would say I miss Danica Patrick, but
Oh,
after
God.
Knaus, I miss
God.
Danica.
I don't even know if I could go there. Oh, wow. Wow. That's all I'm going to say.
All right, our picks for the Blue Emo 400 coming up from Martinsville Saturday night. Our first Saturday night race.
Yes. Oh.
Looking forward to this. We have got 6 of our 8 picks in from our panelists. Somehow Doug has stumbled. I usually expect a pick in from him.
Usually early on.
Yeah. But you and I are simpatico.
You're doubling down on Martin?
Yeah, I've decided I'm not going to play this game anymore where I'm going to spread everything. I am going with who I want to when I
you
want
to, and damn the consequences later.
I'm taking Truex. I agree with you. I think Truex, after last week, was good enough to win that race. Again,
circumstances.
Older tires versus the tires that Hamlin and Harvick had. I think Truex wins Martinsville.
Agreed.
So you and I are both on that.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm tired of I'm going to spread out all my picks and make sure I have these great guys at the end.
It doesn't matter
If you suck until the end, what does it matter?
Exactly.
I am in a great points place right now. I want to keep the momentum going. I know who I'm taking next week at the Bristol Dirt Track already. I'm already set going through race 9. So screw it.
Damn the torpedo.
I almost went with Blaney. I almost went Blaney, burning my third Blaney. I'm telling you.
I thought about Blaney, not quite yet.
All right, so Dave and I take Martin Truex Jr. Sam, of course, along with the Big Blue W. They are taking Blaney.
They are going with him. All right.
Sam and Bill are both going with Ryan Blaney.
Solid pick at Martinsville. He runs well there. Gets the top 5s. Has yet to crack the winner's circle.
Nick, good pick. We know how we feel about this pick, though. The Jugglers taking Chase Elliott. With 3 picks available in the first 26, I am not taking Chase Elliott anywhere other
road course.
Thank you. my brother from another mother.
Yeah,
You only get chased 3 times in the first 26, and with the additional road courses they've put in over the last couple of years, you have got to save him.
Your road courses are at a premium.
That's actually why I was really hesitant
to take another Truex.
Because Truex, to me, is the second best road course racer out there.
And Larson's no slouch either.
Right, but I don't want to use Larson.
On a road course.
No.
I know.
Finally, of course, we said Doug and Jen are still pending. We still got a couple hours here as we tape before our deadline hits.
Yep.
Aaron, again, I stop looking at past history. The Big Easy is taking Brad Keselowski.
Oof.
Well, it could still end up being a good pick, but
could be. But that's a
gamble.
That's a big gamble.
Big gamble.
Big gamble. I don't know. That team has to show me more before I can take them.
Agreed. I would be more than happy maybe 10, 12 races down the road.
Yeah.
To maybe take him.
I'm not questioning his ability to drive the track. I'm questioning the crew putting the equipment under him.
The one thing in NASCAR you need is consistency. You want guys who the owner loves, who have long-term contracts, faith that the team and the owners have in them. Brad Keselowski moving over to a brand new team. Kurt Busch, we've talked about, brand new team.
It's really not there yet.
The trust is not there.
No.
All right, moving on to the NFL. Crazy money still somehow getting spent here in the NFL. Mrs. C has got to be ecstatic. Stephon Diggs just gets a 4-year, $104 million extension, $70 million guaranteed.
Oof. God.
We've talked about the fact that we think the Bears need receiver help, but on the flip side,
I can't give that kind of guarantee to receivers.
But this is what we've seen this offseason. 20 to 25 million per year is what the top receivers are getting.
And even the top receivers.
I don't need one then.
And even your mediocres are getting a premium.
I don't need one. I don't want to spend that kind of money off my salary cap on a wide receiver. I'm sorry, I don't.
You can't.
You notice who hasn't been signed yet? Odell Beckham Jr.
Because he wants too much.
And somebody's going to get lucky and get him for nothing.
Are the Bears going to be smart enough?
No. Bears won't bring him in. Are you kidding me? The Bears won't bring him in. You know who I could see doing it?
If
the Ravens. I could see the Ravens bringing him in.
The Bears could actually
pair him with Marquise Brown. Then all of a sudden, Lamar Jackson actually has weapons. He's got a tight end. That team could be dangerous if they bring in somebody like Odell Beckham.
As much as I don't like him, I think he would benefit the Bears because right now, all you got's Mooney, who's got the potential to be a number one.
In terms of sheer talent, you're right. But I don't, number one, trust the Bears to make a move like that. And number two, I don't think Odell Beckham is a leader. You need a leader. You need somebody to come in, a veteran, like an AJ Green would be more along the lines. He'd be cheap. Somebody you bring in who could actually lead
the receivers,
the younger players. I don't want Beckham to poison the locker room. Now, I want to know where the hell the Rams are getting all their goddamn money. Somebody's got to explain to me how they can keep playing all these goddamn players.
Weren't they supposed to be under the cap, and now aren't they well the fuck above it again?
Yeah, they get Bobby Wagner from the Seahawks in division.
Yeah, how the hell?
5 years, $50 million. Could be worth as much as $65 million. After signing Allen Robinson, after re-signing Matthew Stafford, the only thing I can think is they must have stretch Stafford's deal out
to infinity.
It's like it's Bobby Bonilla money.
Yeah.
Where they're going to be paying him for, but even then, the NFL has limits.
You
I think
have
it's
limits
3
on
years.
how far you can go down the line.
I think it's 3 years. You can't stretch the money out more than 3 years beyond the end of the contract.
I don't get how they're going to pull this off.
And I love the audacity of the GM when he was at the victory parade wearing the shirt said "fuck the picks."
Yeah.
Of course, if you win a title, we all say "fuck the picks."
Yeah. If you get your instant gratification.
Right. I like building a long-term winner. If I was running a team, if we were running a team,
I want to be the Patriots.
Yes, exactly. I want to be the 49ers in the 80s, the Cowboys in the 90s, and the Patriots in the 2000s. I want 4, 5, 6 rings.
You want
I don't just want one. Look what happened with our Bears. We got one. Poof. And what happened?
Flushed
Greatest
down the
team
crapper.
of all time.
Flushed down the crapper.
Thank you. I just wonder what's going to happen with this Rams team. Is this going to be a one and done?
We'll see.
I think the GOAT might have something to say about it.
He could very well coming back.
Although the Gronk
is not in yet.
He's not committing. He's not committing.
His head is not fully there to want to make the commitment that it's going to take.
And of course, we got screwed again last week. Literally an hour after we stopped taping,
the
news comes down that Bruce Arians
steps down from coaching and hands the reins over to Todd Bowles,
who gets a 5-year extension. So now he is the man in Tampa Bay.
Yep. And he admitted he screwed up his first go-round as a head coach.
It was the Jets. I think we'll all forgive him for that.
No kidding. So.
No, and I don't hate Todd Bowles. I really wonder if you want to transition to the younger coaches, which we have seen with Sean McVay in LA, with Zach in Cincinnati, Zach Taylor.
Yeah.
You want a younger coach. Why wouldn't you give it to Byron Leftwich? Give Byron Leftwich the shot at running the show in Tampa instead of giving it to a retread like Todd Bowles. There's obviously no Rooney Rule issue. They're both African American, so we're not talking about, racist shit, which I'm sure the media would love to hop on.
I don't know. We'll see how it all plays out.
Yeah.
I would have thought Leftwich would have been the route to go. Who knows?
Dolphins. Still more stuff going on with the Dolphins.
Trading Devontae Parker to the Patriots. So, the Dolphins and a 2022 5th-round pick. And what do they get in return? A 2023 3rd-rounder.
You and I talked about this, didn't we?
But it's also the Pats are taking the remaining 2 years of the deal.
That's fine, because the remaining 2 years of the deal, and I'm not trying to rip on the Dolphins.
Oh, no,
they had signed him to a cheap deal. I think $5 to $6 million per year.
Yeah, 5.6
and we're talking about Stephon Diggs getting $20 million, Devontae Adams getting $20+ million.
Yeah.
This is a deal for the Patriots, and I told you,
and the Dolphins gave him away. They should have gotten more freaking picks out of that.
They lost their leverage when they went all in on Tyreek Hill. The minute they went in on Tyreek Hill, everybody knew, well, they're not getting rid of Waddle, and then they've got Tyreek Hill now. So Devontae Parker's the odd man out. He's not going to be a slot receiver. the Patriots, Bill Belichick,
smartly
fucked everybody
fucked
again.
them over.
So brilliant. He is so smart.
The Dolphins are so stupid because you should have had all three of those guys.
You
could have worked it in. You could not cover all three of those guys every single play.
What they should have done is they should have traded him before they traded and signed for Tyreek Hill.
I would have kept all three of them, especially with that cheap money for Parker. Come on.
Well, here's your problem now. Because the other news of the week regarding the Dolphins is the new deal they gave Xavier Howard. So now you have the two highest priced cornerbacks in the league, in addition to Tyreek Hill. In a couple of years, you're going to have to pay Jalen Waddle. Who is going to be quarterback? Because you can't pay the quarterback. You're not going to have the money.
No. God, they're so stupid.
Then the worst part is I would be fine with this if they had kept their head coach.
Well, yeah.
Give him the two. Brian Flores he would have been orgasmic about having the two best cornerbacks in the league. But no, you have now got the pothead, offensive genius.
And your defense is going to suffer.
And you're overpaying. Here's the problem, and we've talked about this with the Bears. You can't overpay on one side of the ball when your coach focuses on the other side. Now, the Bears right now aren't paying anybody. So
no, they are taking the dead cap hits this year.
But we have seen it with Trestman in the past. We have seen it with Nagy, where they pay the defense. Yet the coach is an offensive coach.
And they got nothing.
They got no tools for him to work with. Nothing for him to work with.
You have got to find the balance on both sides. And
I'm scared to death with the Dolphins that, okay, you've got two great wide receivers now. You've got a great tight end. No running back. Nope. I mean, I know you got Mostert. Is he going to stay healthy?
That's the big question.
Is Tua going to be able to throw the ball down? I think Tyreek Hill is going to end up being the biggest waste of money because Tua will not be able to throw the ball down the field.
Nope, unless they are thinking maybe trade bait down the line. I don't see it.
I mean, we're going back a year, but I'm telling you, as much of a dirtbag as he is, the perfect fit for the Dolphins would have been Deshaun Watson. Could you see Deshaun Watson
launching it downfield?
Even if you take Tyreek Hill out and say they kept Devontae Parker with Waddle and Gesicki.
I know. He's got the stronger
Then
arm.
You sign these cornerbacks, and
then
makes a lot more sense.
Tua does not have the arm strength to make this work.
Now, of course, the Eagles and the Saints made this really weird trade this past week.
Yeah, I know. Trading for draft picks.
Eagles give New Orleans the number 16 and the number 19 pick.
Yep. And get back
18. They get a 2023 number 1, a 2024 number 2, and a 2022 number 3.
I thought they also got a 2024 one.
There are later picks involved. Yeah, there's more picks, but
there's a lot of weird shit.
Now, my understanding is the Eagles did not want a ton of first-round picks. They're trying to even it out, no more than 2.
Right. They wanted 2. They had, 3?
Right.
And they wanted only 2, and they wanted to back down and get something down the line where they didn't because of whatever.
Well, they're trying to even out the cap hits.
Right.
if you have 3 or 4 number 1 picks in 1 year down the road, that's going to kill you on your cap.
That's going to hurt you badly.
So the Eagles are trying to spread that out. That's why they made this move. But I don't see why the Saints did this.
The Saints have cap issues?
This is just stupid to me for the Saints. I think the Eagles were by far the winner in this trade.
Yeah, they definitely came out on top on this one.
Now, of course, more trouble for I'll get this one right, not like the Indians /
the Commanders?
Yes, the Commanders.
Wow.
Withholding tax, ticket revenue.
Allegations that they did not give the NFL the required 40% of the ticket sales to go into the visitor pool.
Isn't it going to get to the point where something here has to stick? Isn't something going to finally sink Snyder?
You would think. Now we'll see if the NFL audit finds anything.
But the government's involved now. The government, the federal government is who came up with this.
Why? How is Washington getting away with this shit?
And the worst part is the team has sucked
badly.
This is not, we're not talking about a team that's won multiple titles.
No, they just have a dipshit for an owner, a guy who has no clue what the hell he's doing. He was out for the good time.
And the worst part of this is they have sucked one of the greatest men in the NFL, one of the greatest Bears in the NFL down.
Chico is sucked down to the bottom of that vortex.
He deserves better than this. And hopefully, once this whole thing is resolved and he get out of there, Chico,
just bail.
Somebody else will take you.
Bail.
God, the Bears hopefully in 2 years will take you.
God. Washington is just a cesspool right now.
Yep. All right, kids. We said we didn't know. I think we have to go 4. We're going to go 4.
We're going to shorten this up and go 4. We have to get to the PGA. We have to get to our dumbasses and our moments of silence.
Yeah, so we need more time. So deal with it.
We told you topics were going to dictate.
All right. We love you, kids. Stay with us. We'll be right back after one more promo. Are you having trouble falling asleep behind the wheel of your expensive SUV? Are you finding difficulty in avoiding golf clubs thrown at you by your angry wife as you pull out of the driveway? Sign up today for the Tiger Woods Driving School, sponsored by Sports Frenzy 2.0. We'll show you how to text ladies of the night while still driving effectively in the wee hours of the morning. We'll also teach you how to ditch a suspicious backpack when you end up driving into a ditch. Check out Sports Frenzy 2.0 on Spotify, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, for updates on our latest classes, including how to curse and swear in front of uptight golf fans and their children and still be adored by millions. The Tiger Woods Driving School. It's great.
Hello, friends. Welcome to your bonus segment of Sports Frenzy 2.0. I'm the Conquistador Dave Height.
Along with the peaceful maestro, otherwise known as Kevin Crane.
And as you may have guessed, it's time to discuss the Masters.
Oh, great. Tiger fucking Woods.
God, I was looking forward to the Masters this year, and this just destroyed it all for me.
Thank you.
Because that's all you're going to fucking hear about is Tiger, Tiger, Tiger. And when he has to bail after the second round because he's too worn out, You're only going to
or he's
hear
not
about it.
playing well enough, they'll somehow cover that up. Say, oh, Tiger didn't make the cut.
Ugh! Let us focus on the other guys. Ugh!
You summed up my feelings perfectly. I was looking forward tomorrow morning. This will hit on the 7th of April.
Opening day of baseball, opening round of the Masters.
Yes, and I will not watch the Masters tomorrow or Friday. You know why? Because of what Dave said. Because I am not going to subject myself to fucking 7 hours of Tiger Woods' sycophantic love. I am not putting up with it because you idiots out there keep thinking, well, it's okay. All the things, bad things he did in the past, they're okay. Nobody else could have got away with the shit that he got away with. You keep letting him get a pass and a pass and a pass. Enough. We're not saying he's not one of the top 3 golfers of all time. Nobody's saying that.
No, but he's a dirtbag.
It's the same crap we put up with LeBron. Why do you guys fixate on these men?
Because they have to fixate on somebody.
No, we get idol worship is part of sports. I'm sorry, it is. I look over Dave's shoulder. I see a picture of Walter Payton. I would have loved to have been Walter Payton. He is my hero. He is one of my greatest sports heroes, along with Dr. J, Shaquille O'Neal. But you know what they did for the most part? I know Dr. J had an indiscretion or two, but for the most part, they did it right. They did it with dignity and grace. That's why the NFL has the Walter Payton Man of the Year, because Walter Payton was a symbol of greatness, how you could be phenomenal at your sport and still be phenomenal as a person and as a contributor to your community.
You put your community and your team and your family ahead of yourself.
And we've never seen that from Tiger Woods. We never see that from LeBron James. Yet you idiots in the media, you sycophantic fans out there, all go crazy about these two. They are disgusting human beings in my eyes. Different reasons. Tiger Woods broke the law multiple times, destroyed the covenant of marriage with his wife. LeBron James is just a scumbag liar who you can't trust.
He's an
because
egomaniac.
He's going to go wherever he can to make himself look better. Walter Payton stayed with the Bears his entire career. Never left the Bears. Was loyal to his wife. Was loyal to his family. Until, tragically, he died. But we have to deal with Tiger Woods. Oh, it's not his fault he fell asleep at the wheel and wrecked his SUV.
Well, gee, maybe it was for whatever he was doing.
Did we ever hear what was in the backpack that they found?
You never heard what a toxicology report was either.
And we somehow always gloss over what he did with waitresses and hookers and strippers. When he had a beautiful wife at home. A beautiful wife at home with children.
And his behavior on the course.
Where he cursed and swore. And that's another thing that makes me mad. Thank you, Dave, for bringing that up. All these idiots screaming and yelling at him on the golf course all the time. You're the man! You're the man! You're the best! Meanwhile, he's sitting there screaming, swearing, cursing, dropping F-bombs every chance he gets.
If he screws
you
up
want
a
to
shot,
make golf a family sport with this guy as your poster child?
I think not.
And here we are again. Here we are again. He played us again like a fucking fiddle.
Oh, not us. All the sycophants out there.
Hey, well, now he's going to play. He came out. Oh, now I'm going to play.
We'll see.
Again, I will not watch Thursday. I will not watch Friday because all CBS is going to do, all ESPN is going to do
is slurp on Tiger.
They are not going to acknowledge any of the other golfers, which is disgusting and a travesty. And if I was a PGA, I would tell them, we have got dozens and dozens of other quality players out there you need to start talking about. Because how are we supposed to grow the game when all you do
is live in the
fucking
past.
Focus on Tiger Woods?
Living in the
Who's
past.
not even a good role model? Seriously, if you were a father trying to teach your child to play golf, are you going to tell him, be like Tiger Woods?
Oh, hell no. Not even remotely close.
I don't think I could point to a role model. I'm not going to tell him to be like Phil Mickelson either.
No, you can't there.
Koepka?
You got to look to the senior circuit.
I know, it's like every other sport. It is so hard every day, harder and harder to find role models.
Hell, you can't even have Angel Cabrera. No, not Cabrera.
I know who you're thinking of. Who's down in jail?
Yeah.
In South America.
For spousal abuse.
Yeah. Former Masters champion, Angel Cabrera.
Yeah.
I know exactly who you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah, it is Angel Cabrera. Angel Cabrera.
Yeah. He is down in jail, former Masters champion, for spousal abuse.
Violence.
Yes. It's so hard. It is so difficult to find role models. This is why be your kid's hero. You need to be your kid's hero. You need to be your kid's role model. Fuck athletes. Fuck celebrities. Fuck musicians. You need to set the standard. You need to do it.
They are there to entertain us, not to lead us.
And in the end, I guarantee you, 99% of you out there are better people than them. So again, you set the standard. You set the bar for your children. You are better than them. You can show your children the way. Just fucking Tiger Woods. This is what he does to me. He grinds my gears. He pisses me off. And all you people out there who fucking kiss his ass piss me off because you don't understand the person he is. He is deceiving you. He's done it for decades, and you buy into it. And CBS buys into it. And ESPN buys into it.
Pull aside the veil.
You could even take it back to Cleveland. You can go to Cleveland right now with Deshaun Watson.
Oh, God. Yeah. Absolutely
God bless the fans in Cleveland who are giving back or trying to get refunds on their season tickets.
Yep.
Because they will not condone.
Led by the Tomes.
Yes. Yep. Jim Tome's family said
his wife said, nope. We're not buying season tickets. Nope. No way. No how.
This is what needs to happen. We need to take a stand against this.
Stop putting up with the villains. Stop giving them the power, the ability to get away with anything.
All right. We need to take a break before the dumbasses because we're going to get all fired up again. So, couple minutes. Is it really good? Is it really something we care about that the U.S. men, the 2022 soccer team, qualified for the World Cup?
Good for them. They're going to lose in the first round, so it doesn't really matter.
No. They said they got a good draw. They got to play England. So they might actually beat England.
I wouldn't count on it.
And then after that,
I wouldn't count on it. It's the men's American soccer team. They suck. They will always suck.
I know. But, with all we hear about the women's team and how they bitch and they piss and they moan and they whine and they cry.
Yeah, but at least they won.
I know.
They put up. They backed everything up.
Speaking of backing up.
Beep,
all right.
beep, beep, beep.
The coolest entrance ever for a new manager has to go to I'm going to butcher this name, Tsuyoshi Shinjo. Made his debut as the manager of the Nippon Ham Fighters this past week. And he rode in on a hovercraft. There is video out there of Shinjo coming in on a personal hovercraft.
Oh my God.
They do it right over in Japan, I'm telling you.
They do. Come on, they have the best tech over there.
Could you see Buck Showalter flying in a hovercraft from the top of Citi Field? I'm telling you, you've got to look for this video.
Oh my God. That's
Tsuyoshi
awesome.
Shinjo.
Just look up Japanese manager hovercraft entrance.
Now, of course, Dave and I never get along when it comes to college football because I am a Hurricanes fan. He is a Notre Dame Fighting Irish fan, so I am going to give him some shit right now. Seeing that Notre Dame has signed on to play Tennessee State in 2023. So what? Miami and Alabama couldn't get on the schedule for them? So Notre Dame had to jump in?
We're just delving into the depths of every other college program in the country.
Tennessee State? Tennessee State! Oh, they're going to say, well, it's a historically black college, so we're doing our part to lift them up. Bullshit! You have decided to go down this path
of everybody else. If you can't beat them, join them.
Oh, terrible. Terrible. This will hurt Notre Dame down the road.
It will. Telling you. I think it's a BS move. Whatever.
All right. Anything on the Blackhawks? Do you even care?
They suck.
I know. I jumped the gun on the NHL playoffs. Now the NBA playoffs start next week.
Yeah.
But the NHL still has a couple
weeks to go.
Right.
Yeah. No, I'm done. The only thing, the sad ending to this season, there will be one game coming up that I will watch for the Blackhawks, and that will be the final game Pat Foley calls.
Oh, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I can see that.
Growing up listening to him call the games.
Yep.
It was a travesty when he got fired by the team for criticizing what they were doing. Once Old Man Wirtz kicked off, one of the first things they did was bring Foley back into the booth. And I'm going to miss him. He made it so much fun.
I do feel for you. I mean,
when you have there, somebody that you've grown up listening to.
I've been there.
So
yeah, you stole one from me with Steve Stone. You know how much I love Steve Stone. And I miss him every day in the booth for the Cubs.
And he is phenomenal with Jason Benetti right now.
Yep. So I understand where you're coming. I
was pissed when Harry Carey left the White Sox to go to the Cubs.
Yeah. Yep.
And then he became kind of a caricature of himself down the line in later years. But
All right. One moment of silence that I have. Tommy Davis, two-time National League batting champion with the Dodgers, passed away this past week.
I've got two. Doug Sutherland, defensive lineman from the Minnesota Vikings Purple People Eaters, passed away. And in the NBA, two-time Coach of the Year, Gene Shue. Won it Coach of the Year with the Bullets and the 76ers and played for the Pistons.
You can't say the Bullets anymore.
That's the team that it was. So by
you
God, I am saying
David, as a politically correct, guy like I am.
It was the Baltimore Bullets.
Dude, I prefer they were still the Bullets.
So there you go.
The Wizards. Wizards.
Yeah.
We're the Wiz. We're the Wiz.
Yeah, I'll take a whiz on this.
I'd still rather have them be the Bullets to this day. I think of the Bullets. I think of Hayes, Wes Unseld, the great players back then.
Yeah.
Like the Wizards. The Wizards. Oh, Jesus. Political correctness.
All right.
You want to play dumbass or not? I have got a ton.
Sure, we can do that.
You ruined my first one.
I told you at the outset.
But I have a follow-up. So, of course, Dave early on mentioned that there is now going to be a politically correct version of Cracker Jacks called Cracker Jills. And, of course...
Only to be found in Cracker-ass Florida.
Well, my question was going to be, since they're Cracker Jills, does that mean they don't have nuts? See, that one worked.
That worked.
You didn't like my dictator joke.
No.
But he likes the no nuts.
That makes better sense.
Did you realize, though? I guess...
It's the same damn product.
I know, but why does it have to... Here's the thing. I never realized. I heard a story about this. Obviously, this is where I found out about the change or the alternate version. I didn't realize that Johnny Walker put out an alternate version in 2020 called Jane Walker for the same reason.
Oh, come on!
You didn't know this either?
No!
No, this happened in 2020.
Oh, for the love of God.
Johnny Walker put out a version of their whiskey called Jane Walker. Because, again, we can't offend the women out there.
So where's Jamie Beam?
I just don't understand. Where does it go the other way? When does it go the other way? Everybody's so pissed off. You don't celebrate my gender. You don't celebrate my sexual proclivity. You don't celebrate my race. When does it go the other way? When does it go the other way?
Why does it have to? Why do we have to go there to begin with? Why does it have to be come up with something new? Don't rebrand shit. Make something new.
Well, last month, of course, was Black History Month. Of course, this month is Women's History Month. Or March was. When is White Men's History Month? Oh, wait. That's not,
every day.
That's not cool. You can't say that. Bullshit. Albert Pujols. Albert Pujols decided to announce that he was getting a divorce. Now, this was a couple days after he signed for what presumably is his final year with the St. Louis Cardinals. Roughly $2.5 million. He announces his divorce right after his wife has surgery for a brain tumor.
I realize that the timing looks bad, but things build up over a long period. Dude, shut up.
You realize in his statement, you almost went there. In his statement, he said almost what you said, but he made it worse. He said, I realize the timing is bad. It's a couple days before opening day. Not anything about his wife or soon-to-be ex-wife having her brain tumor removed. No, he says it's bad timing because it's almost opening day. Again, going back to Tiger Woods, going back to LeBron James.
Another self-centered asshole.
So do I dumbass? Yes?
Oh,
do I win?
Yes.
All right. You mentioned earlier South Carolina did destroy UConn in the women's NCAA championship game.
That's all I know about it. I haven't done any other background.
Well, now my problem with Dawn Staley, the coach of South Carolina, is the fact that she is one of these militant
feminazis.
She keeps her team in the locker room during the national anthem. And she's always got an excuse. There's always an excuse. Well, the other team dictates when we come out. The other team dictates when they play the anthem.
Blah, 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 blah.
Dawn Staley is another example. And we'll get to a couple other coaches here in a minute, a couple other basketball coaches who I can't stand because of their political
I know
beliefs. One. I'll bet you do. You don't get to dictate political viewpoints when we're dealing with young women or young men playing a game.
Again, it's a fucking game.
So who was the head coach you were thinking of?
Probably somebody from the West Coast with the initials, I don't know, SK?
Bingo! My next dumbass or not for the week. ESPN. Why do we need to have a front page story about Steve Kerr, SK, and Alvin Gentry, the coaches for the Golden State Warriors and the Sacramento Kings? What? I'm sorry. It's a tragedy that there was a shooting in Sacramento with 6 people getting killed and a dozen wounded. Nobody is denying that. But who the fuck cares what 2 NBA coaches think about it? I care what the Attorney General of the state thinks. I care about what the police chief in Sacramento thinks. I don't give a rat's ass what Steve Kerr thinks about a shooting in Sacramento. Why?
Because that's the world we live in. ESPN has got to make their political statement at some point.
I just can't deal with it, Dave. I can't deal with it. And they're making the point, well, Steve Kerr's father got killed in a shooting.
In Beirut.
In Beirut! By a terrorist in Beirut! It's not the same goddamn thing. Not even close.
Beirut was a war zone back then, and it still is.
All right, let's try to bring things back. Hope Solo, she's a train wreck.
Oh my God, she is a nut job extraordinaire.
Gets arrested for DWI. And child abuse.
Falling asleep in the car with her 2 kids in the back seat in a parking lot. Not good.
No, she's got a past history that's just really, really ugly. Now, I don't know if I call it child. I would almost call it child endangerment.
Endangerment, not
more than abuse. She didn't hit her kids.
No, it would
but
be
she put them in danger. But as much as I hate Megan Rapinoe, and her nutsy cuckoo political stances and her purple fucking hair. Hope Solo is 10 times worse. You can't do this. You cannot do this in society. I don't care if you're a soccer star or a normal mom. You just can't do this.
That's a line that's crossed. Not cool.
Well, I really kind of liked Jim Harbaugh up until this past weekend. We talked about the fact that he was on his way out interviewing with the Minnesota Vikings on recruiting day, right?
Yep, out of town.
So now everything's copacetic. He's back with Michigan. New contract. He's all good. Who does he bring in as the honorary captain for the blue and gold game? They're blue and gold or whatever, maize and yellow.
Blue and maize.
Blue and maize, thank you. Who does he bring in? Not anybody affiliated with Michigan, but his personal buddy, his personal friend, Colin fucking Kaepernick.
He's trying to get him back into the NFL.
I don't care if Jim Harbaugh thinks he was brilliant for finding him and bringing him in, and he got him deep into the playoffs. He's a poison. Colin Kaepernick is a poison. And for Jim Harbaugh to do this, if I was a Michigan alum,
I would be pissed. You bring back your alums to talk to the team. You bring back your former Heisman Trophy winners, your NFL Hall of Famers.
Not a polarizing, controversial figure who didn't play for Michigan, who hasn't played in the NFL in almost a decade. Disgusting. Disgusting. Speaking of disgusting, did you know Duke would not shake hands with North Carolina after
it
their
doesn't
Final
surprise
Four loss?
me. Does not surprise me at all.
Classless act on the part
of a classless coach.
I think you and I are the only ones that believe that. Now, I know there are some other guys that don't like him, but we're the only ones that will call him out for the indiscretions, the infractions, the people like Grayson Allen he's put in the NBA.
Yep.
Who are dirty, nasty players.
Yep, let him get away with anything and everything.
All right, finally to wrap up Sports Frenzy 2.0 for the week. Check out the weekend edition. Spotify, Anchor, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Anchor, Breaker, Apple, Overcast, Castbox, and Stitcher! Finally, Brian Cashman, shut up. The Yankees GM still to this day claims that he is so awesome and so great, and he says the 2017 Yankees or 2017 Astros are the only reason that his Yankees team did not win a World Series.
Bullshit. Bullshit. Bullshit.
He's the conquistador.
He's the maestro.
We love you, kids. Thanks for hanging out for an extra segment with us. Check out the weekend edition, as I mentioned.
Yep. Drop us a line. Let us know what you think.
See ya.